Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It's Monday, November 27th. Oh, God, Christmas is coming. So, how'd you guys survive Turkey Day, huh? Pretty quiet here. We basically hunted all weekend. Took my grandson home yesterday. Uh, and then you have Black Friday going on, right? I don't really get into that. I guess you could call me, I'm not last minute shopper type per se. I mean, I just give the kids and the grandkids money cards. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what these kids want or even what they're into these days. And that leads us into today's video is, are you a mind reader? Oh, stay tuned. So welcome back. So what am I talking about today? I'm talking about how whether in your personal life, your business life, it affects you all the way around. The more open you are and honest with the people around you, and the more open and honest they are around you, the easier it is to get along and to do things, right? Because everybody understands what they're supposed to be doing or not doing. What I see a lot take place is when people get upset with someone else because they didn't do a certain thing, and they're trying to figure out, they didn't even know that that person wanted them to do a certain thing. But that person expected that other person to be basically a mind reader. See, people can't read your minds, okay? And I can't read your minds. I can make assumptions, assume, that ass out of you and me. Some people are more sensitive than others, where I consider myself more of a sensitive type of guy, where I pick up on cues of, I can tell somebody's not clicking, if something is not right. I look at things that are going on, and I'm able to pick up on a lot of stuff. But I'll be honest with you, a lot of guys are just goofuses. Unless you tell them exactly what it is you want them to say or do, they're not going to do it for you. And it's going to drive you nuts. But it shouldn't drive you nuts, because now your expectations is that the person that you're with or dealing with, you expect them to be a mind reader. And I don't know of anybody that can be a mind reader. What happens so often is, and this is why in business you try to spell everything out, right? On both sides, from both parties, of what the expectations are of each side. And where the don't go rule falls. And the better you can spell it out, the better it ends up being. Because everybody is on the same page. But now two businesses, we're talking about combining, and they didn't go into the specifics. So let's say one had a cultural difference than the other one, and the one didn't take that into consideration. Good chances are there's going to be a lot of friction, if not, not even taking place. See, a lot of times with couples, like I say, I try to cover, all the extremes, from business to pleasure and so forth. But A lot of couples get into problems when the other one expects something out of the other one without even telling them that they expect that out of them. And then when they don't get what they expected, they get pissed at the other one. And the other one is trying to figure out, now, why is she pissed at me? Doesn't have a clue. And how could they have a clue? Now, has she told this guy that this is what she expects, what she needs, and this and that, and the guy blows her off? That's something totally different. You've been told what my needs are. Now it's up to you to make that choice. Are you going to sleep in bed, or are you going to sleep on the couch? One or the other, right? And a lot of guys end up on the couch because they put themselves first, because they're not feely. They don't get into all that kind of stuff. It's like back when I was in high school. I had, girlfriends per se, on and off, but nothing ever serious. But I was going out with this gal. I think I was 15, 14, and she was a year younger than me. And my grandfather had mentioned, because there was a dance coming up at school, Friday night. And it was like from 7 to 10 and I had mentioned it to her, that there was a dance going on a couple weeks prior, to the dance at our school, and did she have any interest? And she said, nah, she wasn't into the dance thing. I said, okay. So, up come the weekend for the dance. And my grandfather had offered to, because it was hunting season as well, and he said, look, you only have half day today. If you want, we can jump in and head to camp early Friday and make it a long weekend. You and I hunting on Friday, and then with the rest of the crew coming in Friday night. And I thought of Kathy and the dance, but she'd already told me she had no interest in it. So, told Grandpa, said, sure, I'm game. So I went to camp. So you have to remember, guys, back then we didn't have cell phones and all this other stuff. So, you actually had to call on a regular phone to talk to anybody, because she didn't go to our school. She was, from a school maybe half hour, 40 minutes from us, but she came to a lot of our dances, and she went to BOCES, and that's how I knew her, was through the guys that were taking BOCES with her. She was right to be around. So we had a great time in hunting camp. Went in there early and hung out together and did a couple little pushes. And so when I come out Sunday, I give her a call, and now I'm getting the cold treatment because she's not answering, and I know she's there. So it went into later in the week. Gramps said, stop calling her, let her call you first. So finally she called, and she was very snippety. I hope you had a great weekend. We did. That seemed to just piss her off even more. And I'm like, where are you coming from? And she said, well, I thought you and I could have gone to the dance Friday night. I said, well, I asked you if you wanted to go to the dance, but you come right out and told me that that wasn't your bag. So instead of trying to push you towards something that you didn't care for, I went with something that I cared for, and that was spending time with my grandfather up to hunting camp, doing some hunting. See, that's what I mean by a mind reader. I mean, in a lot of relationships, and it's usually the women to the men, I'll be honest with you. I'm not trying to start any fights, but a lot of times you women seem to think that we know exactly what you want us to do. And 9 times out of 10, we're clueless. I'm clueless. I try to, bring you the flowers and this and that, but a lot of times what you think we should know, we aren't built that way. So that's why I say a lot of times when I hear people having relationship problems, I say it's communication. And we're social humans, that's the way we are. And the better you communicate what your wants and needs are to the people around you. Now, yes, a lot of people are fearful of opening themselves up because they feel that they will be belittled or umpteen things come into play, and mostly it's fear. But communication is how you get rid of this trying to be a mind reader, and that is communicating, whether it be in business, in your home life, to any endeavor you do. If you have other people that are involved in that endeavor with you together, there has to be good communication. There has to be a set of, this is what my expectations are of you, blah, blah, blah. And it shouldn't be one person telling everybody else this is the way that it needs to go, because that will help me. Everybody has to come away with a good feeling, whether it be in business. If you sit down at the table, and you're looking at expanding into certain markets, but if the other markets are telling you this is the way it's got to be or else, and they're not taking you into consideration, then it probably is not a good fit. But if you're okay with what they're telling you, that through communication of this is what their expectations are, and you're okay with that, that's something totally different. But like I say, all too often we get into problems with relationships, friendships, co-workers, employers, on and on and on, is because we set unrealistic expectations on other people, and that is thinking that someone else is a mind reader. Now, if you sit there and digest that, that's crazy. How could that person be a mind reader? But yet, a lot of times we get into that situation where our expectations are that they are a mind reader, that they should know how I feel and think about certain things. And so the next time, instead of becoming disappointed by the deal, disappointed in a relationship, disappointed in a friendship, instead of expecting the other person to do X, Y, and Z, why don't you just come right out and ask that person if they have a problem doing X, Y, and Z, and how that would help you, instead of expecting them to already know it. See, now it's, no foul, right? Because now you've let them know what your expectations are. Now, they could totally tell you to shove it up your, you know what. Yeah, But most people aren't like that. And if you're in a relationship, uh, that person's not going to trample your feelings like that. So the next time you get into a situation where you start feeling like you're getting pissed at somebody else because they're not doing or saying what you want them to do per se, just try being honest with them and communicate with them of what's going on. But I know a lot of you out there are sitting there saying, but, you know, I don't want to be let down. I don't want my feelings trampled, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you're in a relationship with someone, I don't care whether it's, platonic, friendships, or whether it's something more. If that person tramples your feelings or belittles you, are they really your friend or the right person to be with? You know the answer better than I do. So on that note, we're going to start wrapping up this morning. Hopefully you guys have a good day. As you can see, I'm trying to throw in a little bit of everything. My main goal has always been to help people, whether it be in business and their home life and relationships, see things a little differently than maybe how they're looking at it right now. And a lot of times I know that with me, after I listened to somebody through the years, somebody would say something, mostly my grandfather. It wouldn't register right at that minute. But the aha moment would come, hours later, even a day later, where I'd be thinking about what he had said. And it's like, let me try that. So on that note, you guys have a great Monday. If you have any comments or questions, or maybe, add to what I'm saying, feel free. All right, we'll catch you on the next video.